everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a really great review and demo using a new product from Mary Kay. I love doing Mary Kay reviews. As you guys all know, it is one of my favorite makeup brands. I just am so obsessed with everything they end up coming out with, and I find they're so like women forward and just, I don't know, can't say enough good things. So anyways, today we're talking about a new powder that they recently launched. This is their Silky setting powder. It is a loose setting powder. So if you want to hear my thoughts and see a review and demo, then just keep on watching. All right, jumping right in. I have some of my face makeup done, not all, but a good portion of it. So I have my foundation, concealer, cream contour, blush. I've been doing a lot of creams lately, which is really exciting. And one thing that I love about creams is in the winter months when you're feeling super dry, creams will work a lot better for you. And then you can use a product like the one that we're going to chat about today to really mattify specific areas on your face. And that's the way that I love using setting powder. Now, to kind of play off of that, I did want to say that everyone's skin is going to be a little bit different when it comes to setting powder. So for example, I'm very oily to combo. So for me, I avoid putting powders and a lot of product in areas that I tend to get a little bit dry. So my chin, around my nose, cheeks areas, but then I'll go in with my powder to set areas that I know will get oils. So it's kind of finding that balance. So if you're just strictly on the oily side, you can use a setting powder a lot more to your advantage to really set everything in place so it doesn't slip around and oils don't break through. But if you're dry, you're going to be strategically placing that setting powder to set concealer, for example, under the eye so there's no creasing, or in the T-zone, for example, and then avoiding the areas which tend to get dry. So that's me, because I'm kind of in the middle, kind of range both ways. So let's just get right into the demo. I have my setting powder here. This is not a first impressions. I actually went to film a first impressions and I was like, you know what? I stopped filming because I was like, I need to test this out further and see how it works and see, you know, how it really lasts on the skin, because I wanted to give more of a full rounded review on this product. And I'm so glad I did that because I have so many amazing things to say about it. It really is Silky, which is in the title of the name of the product. It is their Silky setting powder. It does have color to it, which I personally do like. I find sometimes translucent setting powders can be a bit dangerous, especially with flash photography. And now that it gets dark at like 4 o'clock, basically all photography is flash photography. If you're going out for any kind of holiday get together with your coworkers or friends, family, etc., it's usually all at night. And even like the iPhone flash, translucent powder can kind of really backfire on you and really make you look quite ghostly. So I actually do like using more of like a banana shade or an actual color shade to my setting powders these days. So I wanted to show you quickly the packaging because that's one thing that I saw right off the get-go that I absolutely loved. So it comes with the traditional black Mary Kay lid, very chic and compact, really good size. And then also the circumference is a good size too, because you can fit a small and large brush. So if you're doing your full face and you just want to go in quickly with a large powder brush, you can fit that whole brush in here. It's large enough for that, but slim enough that it's easy to transport, etc. But what I love is that it has this really nice lock to it. So if you're somebody who travels with your makeup like on a day-to-day basis, you pop it in your makeup bag, bring it with you, or you're going on an airplane or whatever it may be, this isn't gonna explode. I've had so many makeup products that are like a loose setting type of powder explode and just get on everything, ruin the makeup bag, or just really get it really dirty and gross. And then it's literally on everything and you cannot get it off. So I love that it has this little lock function. You just twist it and then it unlocks. It's like a little click. Did you hear that? And then you can get the sift to start working, which is really nice. So I thought I'd just quickly say that because I love that feature just for traveling, keeping things really neat and clean, and you don't have to worry about powder getting everywhere. So with a setting powder, I don't want to go in with anything that is remotely even near a shade too dark. I want to go into a shade that's my skin tone or one shade lighter. I don't want to put anything that's going to look more like a contour on those lighter, higher points of the face. So I'm going to go in with light beige. I love this shade. I think it works really, really well for my skin tone. So today I'm going to show you how I typically go in and use a setting powder. So I do have 2 brushes here. This one's a bit smaller. This is from Elle Cosmetics. It's actually their blush brush. I don't know why it's a blush brush. It's really slim and really fits nicely under the eye. This one here, it's really nice, fluffy, but tapered in the end. And this one's from Mary Kay. It's their all over powder brush. I love this brush. It's so soft. And the fact that it's tapered really allows you to get into corners and into areas that you can't with like a larger all over powder brush, you know what I mean? So really love this. This is the brush that I'll bring with me if I want to set during the day. When I'm actually doing my makeup at my vanity, I will go in with this smaller one because it has a little bit more control in certain areas. So I'll dip it in, and then I kid not, so see how much product's on that? Get all of it off. Basically, you're going in with slim to none. So then I have about this much left on my brush, and I actually dab it on the back of my hand. 1, to warm up the product, and 2, just to make sure that I don't have too much on the brush, because I don't want to go in. So see how much kind of comes off? Let me show you. Not sure if you could see how much actually comes off, but it's quite a bit. So after tapping it on the back of my hand, I go into the areas that I feel need to be set. So if you can kind of see, my skin right now is pretty dewy, and I want to set things and lock things into place. So the first area that I do go in, and I usually do this a lot faster than what I did today because I don't want anything to kind of sink into my fine lines around my eyes, but it's all good. So I'm actually just going to use my concealer brush and tap my concealer in one more time. You don't have to do this if you're doing your makeup. I just want to avoid any creasing because it's been sitting there for probably about 15 minutes now. And then I'm gonna go in really warmed up powder and pat underneath the eye. I go all the way out, all the way in, and then I bring whatever's left over onto my lid as well. I have super oily eyelids, so I like to set my eyelids as well. And just like that, and then I do bring it like kind of like that, you know, like the 2010s, the previous way of applying concealer, like you did that triangle, that's what I do. So that's nice and set now. And then this one needs a little bit of setting. It does add the finest little bit of coverage, nothing too intense, and it's not cakey. So same thing on this one. Lightly dusting it. You have just a small amount of product on your brush, and this is going to just help ensure that nothing is going to clump up, get cakey underneath that eye, and keep all the moisture in there, and really focusing it in my T-zone. This is like my problem area. I love to get oily in this area, so this is the first spot to kind of start sliding around. I'll bring it down the bridge of my nose. Just the same product that was already on that brush. I'm not dipping in again. And sometimes for this area, I'll switch to my larger powder brush. I'm still doing that same technique on my chin. And then I like to go into my smile lines. Honestly, it doesn't really stop the creasing of my smile lines because I'm just a very expressive person when I talk. And I just naturally have these smile lines, so I just try my best to. Okay, so that's really all I do for setting. Underneath the eyes, T-zone is really where I focus a lot, and then the chin and smile line area, and that's it. So again, just kind of play with it with your skin, knowing kind of where you get oily and where you want to lock everything into place, and avoid the areas that you want to have glow on. So for me, I really like having a little bit of glow on the apples of my cheeks all the way up. That's where I want to look super glowy, healthy, so I do not set that area. I don't bring, when I'm going into the under eye, I'm very precise with where I place this powder because I don't want to bring it down too far onto the cheekbone where I'm going to be applying my highlight. My highlight's not on yet. I do have a bit of natural glow on the apples of my cheek from a liquid blush, or a cream blush, sorry, but I haven't put my highlight on yet, so I don't want to go in that area with a setting powder. So I want to precisely place my powder just where that concealer is. That's a really great tip that I learned along the way. And when I first started doing makeup, like I had no idea that when I was applying my setting powder, I was applying it way too low onto the face. And then I'd go in with my highlight and wonder like, why don't I have a pop-in highlight like everyone else? Like, what am I doing wrong? And it was when I realized that I was applying my powder way too low. Now, if you are somebody who's super oily and you set your entire face, that's kind of a different situation because you are going to be producing those oils naturally. Whereas me, I don't get oily in this area. I actually tend to get dry. So again, like everything, every technique is going to work differently depending on your skin type. So really focus in on what type of skin you have to know where you want to place your powders. All right, I'm going to take a break from talking, finish the rest of my makeup, jump back on and talk a little bit more about the powder, price, a little bit more about the formula and all the benefits right after this. So I will, it's like I'm a TV show, right after this commercial break. I will be back. Finished up the rest of my makeup and I thought I'd jump back on and talk a little bit further about this Silky setting powder from Mary Kay. So right off the top, let's talk about price. It is $20 Canadian, which I think is a really great price for Mary Kay items. I wasn't shocked when I started trying these out. These powders are really, really silky and they're very lightweight. So what I mean by that is when you apply them, you're not feeling like you're applying a full other layer of makeup to your face. It really is just there to lock in anything that you don't want slipping around. So anything in your oily areas you don't want to budge, your concealer to crease or move around, that is where this product will do its best work. So I talked about packaging already, the fact that it is one of those powders that has a lock system to the sifter, which I think is amazing because it just helps keep everything super tidy and clean. It also makes sure that you're not, you know, when you're traveling and you have a loose setting powder and then all of a sudden it's like so much product is in the cap. And so you can completely avoid that because this will have that little lock that you can just twist and it's super easy to use. I love that feature. It's so simple and I feel like I haven't seen it in that many setting powders to date. So I think that's really, really awesome. And then I also wanted to mention that it does come in 12 shades. So as I mentioned in the demo, you don't want to go for a shade that's too dark. You really want to go for something that's your shade exactly. And if you can't get that exact match, then go a shade lighter because you don't want to be putting a powder that's too dark on top of your concealer that might be a little bit lighter to help brighten and make yourself look more awake. So that is definitely key. Don't go in with powder too dark. I went in with the shade light beige for reference and I'm really happy with this color. I think it looks really, really good. I feel like I've talked a lot this review, just really going in depth on how I apply my setting powders. I've never done that before, so I hope it was really beneficial and helpful. I know it's a little bit awkward that I can't really swatch like loose powders. So definitely head to Mary Kay's website because they do have a pretty good picture of all the shades and stuff like that. So that could be pretty helpful, but also lean on the other shades that you've purchased from Mary Kay before. That could also help you detect what shade to go for when it comes to choosing a loose powder. But I really hope this video was beneficial and helpful for you all. Let me know in the comments down below if you've tried this powder or if you plan to try it. It's the only one I've been using lately. It is so good. So anyways, that is going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and of course I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.